story time on my worst first date ever, and let me be the lesson to you. Women out there, do not go on a date with a man who has been begging in your DMs for months, years, couple weeks. If that man has been on the hunt for months, don't go on a date with him. I really feel like he's just like, because when you finally accept it, it's like, oh, bitch, you didn't want me a couple months ago. You didn't want me a year ago. Oh, bitch, I'm gonna show you. And it's the worst day ever. It's happened to me twice. So let's just get into the story of what happened. Okay, so this happened about, it doesn't really matter when it happened. I think it happened about almost a year ago at this point. But this story, I got reminded of it because he started liking my Instagram story a couple days ago. Bitch, you owe me money. We're gonna get into, let me stop spoiling the story time, but let's just get into the story time, right? So, okay, he DMs me, or I can't remember if he got me off a Hinge, or I'm not on dating apps anymore, but I can't remember if he got me off a Hinge or whatever. But we're messaging back and forth. We're just gonna get straight into when the date happened. So, go on this date, right? He's texting me like, cause it got rescheduled maybe like 2 times or whatever. One time was my fault. Second time, I don't really remember. But so first date, we get to this first date, right? He told me we're going to a museum, and then we were gonna go to dinner after, and then that was it, right? Mind you, I live in Cincinnati, Ohio. People who live in Cincinnati, guess where we went? We went to the 21C museum / hotel. If anyone in Cincinnati knows, that is not a museum, it's a hotel that has one floor of museum art decor in it. So I didn't know that at the time because I'm just a little bit slow. So I get there and I'm like, this is not a museum. So then we walk through there and I'm kind of annoyed because, man, I don't really want to go on a museum date on a first date because it's just you don't really know the person, you don't really know the vibes. You joke about stuff. It's just you're just walking through a gallery with somebody you don't know. So after about 20 minutes of walking through there, I was like, can we go to the restaurant that we were going to go to? Man, oh my gosh, I forgot. Let's rewind. Before the date, he was 30 minutes late. So I get in my car, I'm there, I park my car or whatever, and I don't ever really go inside of places before the person gets there. So I'm just sitting in my car, and I was like, are you here? And he was like, I'm parking now. And I was like, okay. Man, it was this date was on a Wednesday, Thursday. It's not, bitch, we're downtown. It's not, you can find a parking spot downtown. It's not a Friday, Saturday night, right? So it's he's parking for 30 minutes, and he was like, I'm 15 minutes later after he told me he's parking, he texted me I'm in a parking lot right now. And I was just like, okay. And he was like, are you inside? And I was like, no, I'm sitting in my car. So then I finally see him walking into the building. So that's when I get inside. So let's get back to it. So we're back. We left the hotel. Don't ever take me to no hotel oh my gosh. Anyways, the restaurant, everything was relatively close to each other within a 5-minute walk. So we walked to this restaurant, poorly planned. We get to the restaurant, guess what? It's closed. It's fucking closed. So I was like, I don't know, y'all. I be having to see it through sometimes. So we walk past one of my favorite bars downtown. I think it's called Righteous Room. I can't remember how it's in my favorite bar. I can't remember the name of it. I know what it looks like, but we get to the bar or whatever, right? And so I go inside. Mind you, the doorman's not out there at first because it's a Wednesday, Thursday. He doesn't need to be sitting out there the whole time. So I sit at the bar. Mind you, it's me and him. And then it's one other. It's barely anybody in there. So bartender immediately comes up to us. And then the doorman ends up coming out oh, can I see y'all IDs real quick? Mind you, I have my ID because, again, I'm an adult. So I have my ID, right? He's looking he's I think my ID's in my car. So now I was just like, oh my gosh. So then he's like, I'm going to go get your flowers out the car and I'm going to go get my ID out the car. And I was like, okay. So then I'm sitting at the bar and, mind you, we were in this bar for less than a minute. And then he's like, the barman, the bartender, he's like, I get a vodka soda. This is important. This is important to the story, right? So I end up getting a, drink, and he was like, are you gonna keep an open tab? And I was like, yeah, because I thought we were gonna be chilling here for a minute. He was like, okay, I just need a card for it. I was like, I'm gonna give you my card. I'm not paying for this. This is just so you can hold it, because I was getting kind of irritated. I'm like, I need a drink before he comes back. So I get a drink, right? He takes my card. He's like, yeah, I'm not gonna run your card or whatever, right? Very important. So after that, he comes back. He's like, I don't have my ID, and then he has this big bouquet of flowers. I'm gonna put it in here. It was a really nice bouquet of flowers. So it was anyways, they ended up just letting him stay in the bar, right? Because we were both old enough to be in the bar. So so we're at the bar. I get we maybe got and before he came back inside, I told the bartender, I was like, yeah, it's not really good. And he was like, yeah, I could tell. And mind you, the bartender, he wasn't trying to talk to me. He was just being nice. He was like, yeah, he seemed weird. How are you already giving out weird vibes to people who have met you, seeing you for less than a total of 60-second interaction? So let's just fast forward. We get about a couple rounds of drinks or whatever. Like, he's cool, or no, actually he wasn't cool. We're like talking about like regular stuff. I don't know how we ended up getting into politics on a first date. This was before the election and everything. So we're getting into politics, and he's like, I don't remember how we got into it, but it got to the point to where I found out this man was like Trump supporter. Mind you, he's black. This is not a white man. This is a young black man. He's like maybe like the same age as me. So we were kind of going back and forth about that, because I'm like, nah, that's weird. Like, that's actually very strange. So then we're like going back and forth. Eventually, date closes out, right? And he's like, I was like, okay, like they're like, y'all ready to close out? And he's like, yeah. I was like, okay. So then the bartender, because I was talking to the bar, it was like kind of becoming like a 3-people conversation, like the bartender, him, and then me. So he ends up running my credit card, and then he realized right when he did, he was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. And then I was like, it's cool. I was like, you can just Apple Pay me, whatever. And then, long story short, I ended up leaving the date, because I'd never planned on seeing this man again. But I was like, are you gonna, man, this bill, it wasn't expensive. It was for like a couple of drinks, but it was like $75, which like, I didn't plan on paying for it. So I was like, hey, can you Apple Pay me? Never. He was like, ignored the message that whole night. Then the next day he texted me like, can I just give it to you in cash? I like knew at this point I wasn't gonna get my money, so I was like, yeah. And I was like, can I come get it today? Because, man, dude, this was my credit card. I don't use my credit card, and my credit card bill was due that day. So I was like, I want the money back. So then he's like, yeah, I don't get off work until like 9 o'clock. I was like, I can come get it. So then he basically gave me the runaround. Long story short, he was just trying to gaslight me. It was like a couple days later, and I was like, can you send me my money? He was like, I'm gonna send it to you, but what you gotta be acting all weird for? Mind you, I wasn't doing anything. I was not doing anything but asking him to give me my money back. And then long story short, he did not give it back to me. I went on a trip to New York like a week later. He texted me like a week, the day I got back from New York, like, hope you enjoyed your trip. Like, the money's been sitting in my mailbox the whole time you've been on your trip. I don't believe him. And I wasn't gonna go to his house, and I was like, oh yeah. So I texted him, I was like, is it still in there now? Because mind you, he lived like maybe 5-6 minutes away from me. So I was like, is it still there now? And I was like, if I don't get a response in like the next 5 minutes, I'm just gonna not respond. And then I was like, if I don't get a response like in the next few minutes, I'm just gonna block you. And I didn't get a response, so I blocked his number. He makes a text now number to text me. He was like, man, I really shouldn't even have to pay for the day because the flowers I bought you were more expensive than the day. Just say you didn't have the money. Please, just say that. Why do we have to do this whole little run around about $75? Mind you, I made nail tech. I didn't need the money that bad. I make that from one client. So, long story short, he didn't give me the money, and yeah, that's the whole story. But yeah, don't go on dates with people who you don't like just doing it for the plot. Never do anything for the plot, because the plot there'll be some bullshit.